Hi, my name's Tim. I'm the editor of Sega Mania magazine,
Hi, my name's Sam from Sega Mania magazine,
Hi, this is Steve from Sega Mania magazine.
and you're listening to the Sega Lounge.
Welcome to the Sega Lounge, a podcast dedicated to our love for all things Sega, be it the games, the music, or the community. I'm KC. In each episode, I'll be talking to different guests and sharing their projects and their passion for Sega. Hello and welcome to the Sega Lounge, your number something podcast for Sega talk and fun. Yes, number something. Although I did get some messages of people sharing their Spotify Wrapped lists with the Sega Lounge in the top position. Wow, thank you so much to those who listen to this podcast every week. And I would love to see more of those posts, so do please tag us on Twitter or Instagram if you're willing to share. We're at the Sega Lounge over there. This week's show is the final interview we're doing this season. After this, we're doing 2 more episodes before we close the doors of the lounge for the year. Stick around until the end when I'll be sharing what those special themed episodes will be. Also, if this is your first time around here, please follow the Sega Lounge on your podcast app of choice, and you'll get access to not only all of our future episodes, but our back catalog of wonderful guests and challenges too. So who graced us with their presence for this, the last interview of the season? This week, I'm joined by Tim, Sam, and Steve from the Sega Mania magazine team. Tim and Sam are the co-founders of this Sega-centric magazine, one that has a very particular and original approach to the company's history. The guys were a blast to talk to and told me all about how this project came to be, and even shared some exclusive info on what to expect to see on their next issue. By the way, the most recent edition of Sega Mania, issue 3, is currently available to order from their website. Hello guys, welcome to the Sega Lounge. Welcome, we have the Sega Mania magazine team here with us. So, would you like to introduce yourselves, one at a time, please?
Yeah, sure. My name's Tim. I'm the editor and co-founder of Sega Mania magazine, and very happy to be here.
Happy to have you.
I'm Sam. I don't really have a title at the magazine, actually. Just kind of do whatever.
You're
But
the other co-founder, Sam.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Thanks, Tim.
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm a writer on Sega Mania magazine. I've actually just recently joined, so I'm blinking into the light, and very, very pleased to be here.
Excellent. Welcome to the show, guys. It's a pleasure to have you on the Sega Lounge and talk about this awesome magazine. This has been a long time coming, right, Tim? We've struggled to get a decent time that worked for all of us, but I'm really glad that we finally made it. So let's start. I usually start by letting people tell me a little bit about themselves. Like personally, but let's start from another angle so we can keep things interesting. What is Sega Mania? What is the Sega Mania magazine? The hardest question of all.
Yeah, that is a hard
sounds
question.
Like one for you, Tim.
I'm not 100% sure we know anymore. It's been a bit of a week of disillusionment. We sent out a customer survey, and that was a mistake. It is basically nostalgia squashed into 64 pages. All of us, I think, are in the middle of a midlife crisis, and we dream of those days of old of, getting games and games magazines as kids. And we just wanted to bottle that up and put that into print, really. And Sega is, big passion for all of us. So that was the target topic. And the magazine structure, we do 1 year per issue. We started in 1990 for issue 1, and then 1991 for issue 2, and like 92 for issue 3. I really wish we'd made the numbers match the years. It would have been so much easier to remember. And yeah, it's just the main focus of it really is just to bring those years of Sega back to life as a nostalgic experience for older readers who were there during the time, and as a window into that world for newer readers who weren't around in the 90s. And that's why we include things like television shows and movies alongside the games to really try and not just bring the games back into focus, but also the times in which they were released. To me, the 90s feels like it's still only 10 years ago, but in
Tell me
reality,
about it.
we're close to 30 years or longer now. Is it 30 years?
My
Yeah,
God.
not far off. And it really was a different time, and we just want to try and capture that and sort of bring that era back to life. That's how I feel about Sega Mania magazine. Whether we achieve that or not is up for debate, but that's what we're aiming to do. That's what Sega Mania is to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any different thoughts from Sam or Steve?
I wouldn't
Yeah.
dare contradict or alternative leader. I know my place.
I think it's quite cool. We're treating it like a time capsule, really. Obviously, what you see is what you get, and obviously Sega's on the cover, and it's mostly Sega magazine. It's game reviews, it's hardware that came out at the time, and obviously it's very very focused on that. But I like to look at it like Tim says, as almost like this window into what things were like back then, and we covered the TV shows, we got various like music pages, and sort of it's kind of crisscross without wanting to focus on ourselves too much. There's a lot of anecdotal stuff because obviously we were all alive at the time, and they were very formative years for all of us, especially when it comes to how we all got into video games to begin with. And it's just trying to recapture that era, really. And I think we try and do the writing style so that it reflects that, although it does tend to contradict itself sometimes. I think we write things sometimes as if, these games just came out now, and we're reviewing them as if they're new. But then in other parts of the magazine, we're very self-aware and sort of completely aware that it's look back at things and a nostalgic look. But we think we've kind of made it work, that sort of that style. And I think we've got some really good positive feedback, like Tim was saying, from the readers, who really like that as well, even if it's a little inconsistent.
Yeah, it's a bit like there's a bit of that tongue-in-cheek feel of magazines from the 90s, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something when I started it, or when we started it. When I started, somebody started it. So we probably shouldn't have started it, but here we are. When we first started it, that was the thing that I wanted to bring into the magazine the most, was the tongue-in-cheek. I'm not sure whether we can swear on this podcast. I'm terrible for that, so please stop me if I do. It was they used to make fun of their readers, be a little bit silly, be a little bit controversial. And when I was, in I'm 36 now, so I was 10 in 1995. And when I picked magazines like that up off the shelves, I almost felt a little bit naughty reading them. Like I shouldn't be reading them. They came across as quite adult. And we kind of wanted to bring some of that sort of cheekiness with us into our magazine, and I think we reflect that quite well in the writing. We never aim to insult anyone or attack anyone. That's not what we're about. But we like to have fun with our writing a little bit, and that is an homage to those older magazines.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I think we're all around the same age. So I'm 37, so we're probably all around that same time period. We're all old now. Not sure if you've noticed yet.
Starting to.
It's very very sad, but it's true. But we're obviously all nostalgic for the 90s and that era of video games. So rewinding a little bit and starting from the beginning now, what were your personal experiences with video games back in the 90s? So let's switch it up a bit and start with Sam. Would you like to tell us how you got into video games and what was your experience with Sega particularly?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in the first issue of the magazine, I talk about this because we have a section at the start where we all talk about ourselves a bit, and obviously with issue 1, it was all about this kind of thing. And it was one Christmas morning. I forget which one it was, but I've actually by chance just found a picture that my mum dug out of me opening a Master System 2 on my living room floor on my hands and knees, tearing through the packaging. And that was it for me. That was the main crux of the first column that I did. It was sort of opening that, being completely blown away by it, and that was even before I got out of the box, and then plugging it in, and it just opened up that world. I'm sure you and the guys will agree as well that kind of playing video games is a big part of your identity, and that was like the formative moment for me, opening that, and it just went on from there. Really, you went on to the Mega Drive 2 and the Dreamcast and all those kind of things before even getting to your PlayStations and everything else. I think I've probably played every console there is, but just that sense of wonder as a kid when you're opening a box as almost as big as you are, to find that you can play this interactive game. I think I got the one where Sonic the Hedgehog was built into the machine,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't even need a cartridge. And then the excitement of getting a new game, and yeah, it's fair to describe it as a life-changing moment, especially given how I've turned out. I'm still doing it now, so
I like I've got the first issue right here, and I like something you say. If mom and dad had got me an Action Man instead, it's no exaggeration to say that I might be a different person altogether.
yeah.
So that's quite true.
Very much so,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
for all of us.
obviously as kids, yeah, you're hugely impressionable as when you're a lot younger, obviously, and it just it, like I say, a different present, or I might not have even been friends with Tim. Say I'd got a Nintendo or something, we might be sworn enemies.
Oh
I
my
don't
god.
know, but
What do you think would have happened, Sam, if you did get the Action Man? Would you become a commando or SAS
I
officer?
don't know. Who knows? We can only speculate at this stage.
So I think this is a good time to ask Steve how
Hi.
he started playing video games, and what was your experience with Sega back in the day.
Well, I was born into a family of 4 older brothers, so there's always games about. We started with an Intellivision that we used to play, and then I promptly broke about the age of 4 years old. We moved on then to computers to a BBC Micro, and then on to Commodore 64. But I think it was Christmas '92, so the same year that I've joined the magazine, that I opened up a Sega Mega Drive, and it was because my brothers thought it looked cool. So they let Father Christmas know that that's what I wanted because it was cooler than Nintendo. And
Well done.
and I was born into that religion from that moment. Stuck with it all the way, even through the dark years of the Sega Saturn, when you were the only person in the playground who had one, and I wasn't a turncoat like some other people I won't mention, and jump over to the dark side for a generation until the Dreamcast came back to almost rescue us, until they forgot to put a DVD drive in there. To be honest, when the Dreamcast died, I remember walking into WH Smith's, because you used to get your news. Gaming was our religion, and WH Smith's was our cathedral. You walk in there, and that's where you get your gaming news from, because of course it's pre-internet days. And I think it was Edge magazine had the title Dreamcast Dead, Sega Unstoppable. So that's when I found out the Dreamcast, and I thought was doing pretty well because it started out the gates really strong. That's when I realised that that the Dreamcast, that Sega out the hardware business, and that broke my heart a little bit. I stayed in touch with the later consoles, but it never quite felt the same.
Okay. So
I'm not over
actually,
it, as you can tell.
I have a similar experience with like the death of the Dreamcast. So I didn't realize immediately that the Dreamcast was dead. I thought it was doing great because I was having a lot of fun with the console, playing a lot of games, enjoying myself very much. I think I realized it like a few months later.
Yeah, well, it did have a really strong start. I think it was the fastest selling console of all time during the opening month or so.
Mhm.
I seem to
Yeah,
remember
it
doing
was.
really
Yeah,
good
it was.
figures. So I just took it as read that it was doing fairly well. I knew we were scared about the PlayStation 2 because a lot of people were going to remain loyal to the brand. But I thought enough people had jumped ship, or people that jumped ship from Sega after the Mega Drive.
Yeah.
I thought that we would capture enough of them there to keep it going. But so it was a bolt out of the blue in that respect. But yeah, I think far too many people were brought in with the hype of the PS2, which I don't think, certainly at launch, didn't live up to it. I think a lot of people were, as I said before, buying it for the fact that there's a DVD player as well. It was a wonderful selling point because DVDs were the fastest selling piece of hardware of all time at that point. I think it went through a period of about a year when it was just, they were just flying off the shelves. And if you could, and they were really expensive. So if you could get a PS2 as well as the DVD player at the same price, you'd be able to get a DVD player off the shelf. It was a no brainer.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that's true. It was a major selling point for sure for the PS2. Good answer. Good answer. So Tim, it's your turn. I'll
Yeah.
let you speak again to tell us
Okay.
about your
Thank you.
experience, please.
Okay. First off, Steve, I've got that copy of Edge downstairs. I might get it out and show it to you to trigger a bit of PTSD.
Thanks for that.
My introduction to gaming and Sega is actually quite different and quite later than some people might think. My first games console was a ZX Spectrum from Sinclair, and then from that I then moved to the Master System, but I didn't really understand what the Master System was at the age that I was. I had Sonic, Alex Kidd, and Submarine Attack, which I think I reviewed Submarine Attack in the first issue. Still haven't finished it. And to me, the Master System, I'm probably going to upset a lot of your listeners here, but didn't really blow me away. I was about 5 years old. It was another gaming system to me. I wasn't conscious of Sega or Nintendo. I didn't really have any access to any media which let me know there was any kind of war or which was better. It was just an interactive toy to me. And then after that, I moved on to the Amiga, which I enjoyed for a couple of years. I had an Amiga 600, which I thought was fascinating from a technology point of view. But again, being quite young, I struggled with some of the more advanced concepts in terms of its operating system, and multiple disks. You know, if something didn't work straight away with it, I had a hard time understanding it. And then everything changed when I went to a tiny little newsagent at the bottom of my street when I was around 7 or 8 years old, and I saw my first copy of Sonic the Comic. And Sonic the Hedgehog was obviously, by that point, this was 93, so 91, Sonic was in mainstream consciousness, and I knew
Yeah.
who he was, even though I hadn't really experienced any of his games. But for some reason, I walked into the shop. It was my birthday that day, May the 28th, and my mum agreed to buy me this comic. Something just drew me to it, and I got absolutely obsessed with Sonic the Hedgehog. And from that point, obtaining a Mega Drive and Sonic the Hedgehog was the only thing that was important to me, and that didn't actually happen until a year later. And that was where it all started. I got a Mega Drive 2, copy of Sonic 2, copy of Sonic 3, as the years went on, and Sonic and Knuckles, and
So you didn't get Sonic with your Master System?
I did.
Oh, you
But
did.
at that point, it would have been 91 when I obtained that, and the impact of it. I love the Sonic 8-bit series, but I'm finding it hard to explain this. Because
It
I was so
didn't
young.
click at the time.
Yeah, I was so young, and I didn't get gaming magazines. There was nothing
Yeah.
like gaming on TV that I would watch. You know, I really was quite insulated from it. It
Hmm.
just, the concept didn't, mean anything to me. But as I got a little bit older and became aware of some of the things I was seeing on TV, and then friends were starting to get into gaming and talking about which was best, and getting excited over stuff, I then started taking a bit more of an interest. And then it was Sonic the Comic that, it made me fall in love with the
Hmm.
character, and falling in love with the character then made me want to follow him into the console generation that was the Mega Drive, and then that's when it all exploded. And from that point onwards, I was a Sega loyalist. Although a couple of years later, I got a PlayStation and sort of dipped. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry about that, but then I did pick up a Saturn a short while afterwards. Um, and then, of course, the Dreamcast. And the Dreamcast was something I went really heavily into. I ended up getting a complete PAL collection. Um, all the accessories,
Mhm.
various custom shells. I really went hard into the Dreamcast, and yeah. So when I jumped to the PlayStation, those few interim years, I still felt like I was. It didn't feel right to me. I always looked at the Saturn and felt sad about the direction it
Like
went in.
a single manly tear.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
when you were
Yeah.
playing PlayStation games. Yeah, I'm not one to talk because I skipped that entire generation. I didn't jump into the jump ship. I didn't go to the PlayStation, but I didn't actually get a Saturn either. So I went from the Mega Drive straight to the Dreamcast. So
Okay.
I'm always fascinated for about what people experienced during that entire generation that I actually skipped for multiple reasons. I'm also fascinated about the people's most people's reactions to the Master System, because many people swear by the Master System and the Sonic series on the Master System as being maybe even better than the Mega Drive games. I started with the Mega Drive, so I didn't really get that experience. But it's interesting to know that you're not one of those people.
That's not strictly true.
Oh,
Where when I obtained a Mega Drive, I still had a friend who, due to his parents not being able to afford to buy him a Mega Drive, he stuck with the Master System for quite some years um, after he'd initially gotten his, which I think was around the same time as I did. And so, our love of gaming kind of grew together. And if I went round to his house, it was an opportunity for me to play Sonic Chaos, Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 on the Master System, and he would have come to my house and play on my Mega Drive and experience the games that way. So I did get a chance to actually uh, get involved with the Master System a lot more once
mhm.
I personally passed into the Mega Drive era. And I think I would I'd be confident in saying I think the 8-bit version of Sonic 1 is better than the Mega Drive release of Sonic 1.
Okay,
Looking back now.
okay. I I'm not sure. I agree. I don't think I'm not able to compare the two, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah,
Yeah, I do
they
enjoy both. I have a fondness for Sonic One because it was my first Mega Drive game. Uh, Probably from my old age, I can't remember, but I think Sonic One was probably my first video game of all time. So
yeah,
it's got a special place in my heart. I think it still holds up pretty well. But Sonic One on the Master System is a very good game as well.
Yeah, I think if you were to if you go back in time and look at the two of them side by side when they were released, you can easily say that the 8-bit version was the inferior version. Of course, it was. It had worse graphics, worse sound, um, arguably worse playability. But when you look at them now, I think Sonic 8-bit can stand on its own two legs and be proud of itself as
Hmm.
as an incredible port. And I think the two games are very different, and I think they're both equally brilliant. I know I'm sort of backstepping on what I said before, but um, I think I think that's how it's changed now. Is once upon a time you would compare the two side by side as if they were the same product, but I think now when you look at them, they are definitely not, and they're both very good in their own right.
And it's funny how even of course we had Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 just like on the Master System, just like we had it on the Mega Drive, but they were not direct ports. Especially Sonic 1, there were some similarities. We had some of the same stages, but it was an entirely different game, or almost entirely. The levels were different. The even the Green Hill Labyrinth, the levels itself themselves were different. The layouts were different. So we had original stages as well, original music. So it's fair to say it's a different game and one that stands on its own. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've just given me flashbacks to the labyrinth stage, which I'd repressed until this very moment. I think that's the bit
Which one?
I think there was underwater parts. It's funny because now I'm now relying on my memory, but I do remember having to get my dad to help me with some of the trickier bits.
On the
Yeah,
Master System or the Mega Drive?
I think this must have been the Master
The Master
System.
System. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
The boss on Labyrinth Zone on the Master System is evil because it's one of those you have to
Yeah.
jump across from one side to the other, and it's one of those jumps where you have to launch yourself from the very last pixel of the edge in order to make it to the other
yeah.
side. That is horrible.
I
You have no
remember.
rings, right?
I don't think so. No.
I don't think so. The third act is always the boss stage, and you get no rings. I think so. It's like a one hit kill. So
Yeah.
I just remember a part of it where you had to go underwater and you had a bubble that you only had a set time with. I think I'm remembering that correctly, and it's that the anxiety you get when you realise you're running out, and it's obviously a labyrinth, so you get lost underwater,
Yeah, I
and then
think that.
Sonic drowns, and you feel really guilty about it.
Yeah, I can't. I'm pretty sure the bubble air refill mechanic is in the 8-bit version, and
mm,
it is, isn't it,
Uh,
David? Do
I
you know if?
can't
I can't
remember.
remember.
Yeah.
I can't
Oh well.
remember. But I do
Some.
remember struggling with the air bubbles in the 16-bit
Yeah,
version as well. So
nobody
especially
likes underwater levels.
in Scrap Brain 3. So the
Yes, where it's
final
sudden.
level, the third act is underwater a bit, and
It's
it's much harder than Labyrinth in
yeah.
terms of getting air. But yeah, good times, good times. So you guys have all your personal experiences with Sega. Going back a little bit to Sega Mania. So Tim, how did you guys decide that this would be a good idea? So I think from reading the magazine that this was an idea that you had and then you didn't do anything about it for a few months and then you came
Almost
back
a
to it, right?
Yeah. It was almost a year. It it came from yeah. I did discuss this in more detail in the first issue, but the original plan was to write a book. One thing that I can say about everyone who works on Sega Mania is we're all creative types in our own way. Sam has been working on a book recently. Um, Alex does podcasting and a lot of streaming. Rob is a published author. Steve is an actor, and many other things. I'm sure he'll tell you about in a moment. But me personally, I've always worked in IT with technology, and so my spare time has always been trying to do something creative. And I, I really wanted to write a book on my personal experiences with gaming over the years. But the difficult thing about writing is that it's a very long process, and you can be waiting a very long time to get any feedback from the public as to whether it's any good or whether they'll sort of enjoy it. And I find without that encouragement, without that engagement, it's hard for me to stay focused. And so I thought, well, rather than do a book, why not do a magazine? It's something that's more achievable in a shorter time space. You can get it out there quickly. You can get feedback. You can use that feedback to do another issue and improve upon what you did before. And that's where Sega Mania was born. And that's why we follow the 1 year per issue format, because that's how my book was originally designed to be. I would start off in my first memory of gaming, which would have been sort of 1989, goes to 1990, 91, and the chapters of the book were broken up in that way, and so the magazine is really borrowed from that initial concept.
Excellent. Yeah. So there's been a resurgence of especially Sega magazines recently. We have a few of them, including Sega Mania. What is it about a physical magazine you guys think that appeals to the gamer of today, or actually the gamer of today that grew up in the 90s? And what is it about Sega that is a good segment to make magazines about?
I'm going to mute my mic, let someone else have a go.
Yeah, I think it's like we said at the beginning. It's just it captures that era. I mean, it's obviously the magazine is for anybody who wants to pick it up, any age and any demographic. It's we sort of really appreciate all the readers that we've got, but on a sort of a superficial level, it obviously is aimed at people like us. People who were alive at that time and of that generation, and because like not only is the content geared towards those people. We find the idea of having a sort of a physical product it accomplishes that goal as well. It would have been perhaps a lot more easy to just sort of do a digital only copy, but we really wanted from the very beginning to have a physical product because it was almost more authentic, because you would have got this in the 90s. You wouldn't have been, I think the internet was around in the 90s, but nowhere near in the way that it is now. You certainly weren't consuming media through it in the way that you are now with even podcasts and digital magazines. It just wasn't an option for you. So we thought it would appeal to people, and I think we all wanted a finished product, really. Tim and I talked about this, like you said, quite a while ago now, and it took a little bit of time to come to fruition. But there was always the real desire there to have a physical product that people could hold in their hands and say, yes, I've got this. And as far as it goes with Sega, and in my experience, I'm probably the worst person on the team for sort of keeping up with these things. So it's only really since we launched the magazine that I've sort of basically, you put yourself out there on Twitter a bit more, you go on social media, you approach people because you think, oh my God, they've got a great collection, we want to do an article on that. And it was only in the past few months since we launched the magazine that I realized just what an absolute world is out there in terms of like-minded people. People who love this kind of stuff, all the retro collectors, all the people who still play the classic titles now. It really opened my eyes, and it was just really, really cool to connect with so many people. And I'm having so much fun on Twitter, particularly where you sort of come across people like this, and you just think, God, there's more kindred spirits out here than perhaps I realized to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's a permanence to what we do as well, and also having a finished product on a regular basis. It works both ways. We could have just done a blog, or we could have done a website. And the thing is that the speed that the digital age is moving at the moment, it's very easy to get lost in the noise. And don't get me wrong, there are some people out there who do some fantastic work on websites. And I'm not showing any disrespect for that medium or bloggers or anyone who do that sort of thing. It's just it is quite a crowded space. And it's not, you can't just put what you want out there and hope that it'll get picked up. You've got to put work into SEO, search engine optimization, you constantly be at it all the time and hope that the articles sort of get picked up. But once they're read and become old news, they kind of disappear. The idea of permanence really appealed to me, because we can put what our reviews and everything down onto paper, and once it's printed, it's done, and that will stick around forever, and that's really satisfying feeling. But also, so that's the selfish way of looking at it. Is it's a way for us to just make sure that what we do stays around. But from the reader's point of view, it's people love collecting things. We wanted to give them something they can hold, they can keep, they can treasure. There's the excitement of it arriving in the mail, opening the packaging. We've got the nice glossy covers, flicking through. We generally don't reveal what is inside the magazine before it goes live at all. We always want it to be kept secret, so people aren't just going to get the copy and say, oh well, I saw they photographed half of the pages. There's nothing, I kind of know what to expect. We always want it to be a bit of a surprise. There's that pleasure in the physical opening the packaging and sort of touching it and feeling it. That really appealed to us. So that's the reason why we kind of went physical. It's also a USP. Because it's quite a new concept. It's been a while since people have started doing print magazines again. It's a great way to get yourself out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think that sometimes it's easier to find stuff that caters to a Nintendo audience when we compare it to a Sega audience, to the Sega fandom. I'm not sure if you guys agree or if you have the same experience. I think for us in Europe, we get a lot of Sega stuff, but I have a lot of listeners in the US, and I think that most mediums there cover Nintendo, which makes sense considering the results that Sega had over there when compared to Nintendo. So I think it's kind of refreshing as well to have more of these different experiences focusing on Sega as well. Do you guys feel the same in your experience with your readers as well? Do you have people from the other side of the pond?
Yeah, at the moment, I would say 30% of our sales are international, and we have people buying the magazine all over Europe, America, Canada, Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, Japan. The demand is out there for Sega content. I think it's something that people have been wanting for a long time.
Yeah, there's a real hardcore fan base in Finland as well, isn't there? Of all places,
Finland.
We get a lot of orders from
We
Finland.
get a lot of orders from Finland. It's that's another reason why we started this. Is Sega was such a huge impact on the gaming industry, and they're a shadow of their former selves, which I'm kind of sad to say. And we kind of just don't want them to be forgotten, and that's kind of what the magazine does a little bit, is by going back to each year and showing you all of the major milestones that Sega made in terms of bringing CD. I know they weren't the first to bring CD technology out, but they did it and they tried, and they dabbled in 32-bit a lot earlier than other console manufacturers did, and they did lock-on technology and J carts and weird peripherals and big blockbuster worldwide launches. Like Sonic 2 came out on the same day, everywhere worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that happened again until things like Grand Theft Auto 3 came out. They were the first to try and do things like that. So I think we're kind of cataloging the history of Sega, and hopefully a lot of younger people will pick this up and be like, oh, they're not just the guys who release a Total War game every 4 years, but these guys are big players. Yeah.
And actually, when it comes to worldwide releases, they're doing it again now with their newest games. It used to be like a Western date and a Japanese date, release date, and now they're trying in their most recent games. They're trying to do worldwide releases, which is actually pretty great.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you, Steve. Before I take a break.
Okay.
So you've mentioned your experience with the classic Sega. Are
Yeah.
you still in touch with Sega with their more recent stuff still, or are you just like a hardcore classic fan? And that's
I
it.
have to admit, I've got a 10-year-old daughter, and she's quite massively into the Sega brand herself, because we played all the classic games on the 360 when they released that collection, and she got massively into a lot of them then. So I do kind of keep my eye out if there's anything Sega themed, because she's getting a bit older now, but when she was a little bit younger, just the word Sega elucidated a little bit of excitement in her, just like it did for me. So that was always nice to do. So but I mean, let's face it, it's as Tim said, it's not quite the same thing getting excited about a Sega releases now as it was back in the day. But I keep my eye out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about you, Sam?
I mean, I don't have kids myself, so I can't the only sort of reliving it I do is in my own time, coming up with the reviews and all that kind of thing. But I don't sort of keep on top of it too much, although I do more so now. As I say, since we launched the magazine, it's you go out and you start. I keep banging on about social media, but you start following people, and you're trying to get the word out, trying to create a bit of buzz for issue 1, as we were, and you end up following a load of people who are much more informed than you are and have kept up with it, and it's a large part of who they are. And sort of by osmosis, you get a bit more of that. You realize that there are still some various projects kicking around, people who are still as enthusiastic about it now as they ever were, and it just offers this fascinating window into something that is still there. It's like Tim says, I think Sega's best days have already happened, but there's a real hardcore of people out there who are keen to preserve them and to keep living them. And I think there's something to be just said for generally retro gaming anyway. I mean, as Steve just mentioned just there, and I think I've said in one of the columns in the magazine as well, it was sort of a friendlier time. We talked a bit in the magazine about sort of what online gaming is now, and how there's quite a lot of toxicity in when you have to either cooperate or play against each other online, and there's an innocence and a simplicity to the older games. And I think if I ever did have kids, I would want to get them started with stuff like Sonic the Hedgehog and things like that, that were more about the fun and less about the achievements and the min maxing and the try harding. There's just something so pure about it, and it's just been really cool to see that like I said, having been ignorant to it for quite a while since we started the magazine, you realise that there are these people out there that are just as enthusiastic as they ever were, and it's just really, really cool.
Yeah. I would say you guys are right. It's not the same, obviously. It can never be the same. They're not coming back into the hardware business, but the recent years have been great as well. If you try things like the Yakuza series or Judgment and Lost Judgment and other, even they've been handing out their IPs, not handing out, but licensing their some of their IPs and letting other like teams, talented people work on them and making new games, remakes and stuff like Streets of Rage 4. So it's an interesting
Yeah,
Yeah.
time. It's an
Streets of
interesting time.
Rage 4 is excellent. I loved
It's
every minute of that.
brilliant. Yeah.
I just to answer your question in terms of my experience with modern Sega, I am one of the foolish people who still gets involved in the Sonic games. I know that will split the opinion of your
Yeah.
listeners right down
Yeah.
the middle, but um, that I Sonic the Hedgehog is Sega and Sonic the Hedgehog. You cannot unpair those two things for me at all. And I do like to keep up to date with what they're doing with the franchise, and it's been very hit and miss over the last few years. In terms of any of the more modern stuff, I would say, I mean, at the moment, I don't really have a huge amount of time to play games. The irony of doing a gaming magazine is you can no longer game. It takes away a lot of your time. The reason that I haven't kept up with the modern stuff as much is because now that I'm older and I have a bit more disposable income, it's given me the opportunity to actually go back and pick up all of the old stuff that I never got um, to buy or experience the first time around. And at the moment, any free time I have, retro gaming is going at the moment into Sega Saturn. I'm
Hmm.
exploring, I'm really throwing myself into that library and everything it offers because it was just a console I completely missed out on. Um, I do play modern games, but I would say the vast majority of them are not Sega games, and I hope that doesn't upset anybody or offend anybody.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed, Tim.
Okay,
Um,
that's fine.
what can I say? It's cool. Yeah, but everyone has got their own experiences, so that's cool. That's cool. I think just because of that, we need to take a break, Tim.
Okay.
You just broke my heart now. No, we're well overdue a quick break, and when we come back, I think you guys already know what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's gonna happen. So
Oh
we'll be
dear.
right back.
Okay.
It's officially fan choice season over at Radio Sega. You may not know this, but every year the station asks their listeners to pick their favorite song from Sega games released in the previous 12 months, as well as the best community made remix released during the year. Before that final voting period, though, the month of November is all about the nominations. So right now, everyone can nominate their favorite 5 songs from Sega games released in the last 12 months. At the end of the nomination period, the 10 most nominated songs will make it to the final round. Got any particular banger you'd like to see voted Song of the Year? Check out the list of eligible games by going to radiose.ga/song of 2021. And while you're there, click the link to the survey and tell Radio Sega which Sega songs are in your top 5 of the year. That's radiose.ga/song of 2021. Anyone can take part, and nominations close on December 5th. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the Sega Lounge. It is time. I know you know what's happening. It's the Sega Lounge Challenge.
Now that you know our guests, it's time to put them to the test. It's the moment we've waited for, and the moment they dread.
Welcome to your doom.
I mean, welcome to the Sega Lounge Challenge.
No.
Oh
Please
dear
no.
God.
Do we get gunged if we don't get the right answers?
Well, you are aware that all of our credibility as a Sega magazine is about to go straight out of the window.
We didn't start with much either.
That's true.
I am aware. Are you aware, though? That's the question. Your whole future as a magazine hangs in the
Hinges on this
balance right now.
moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do what I think is just it's only fair, the ultimate Sega fan challenge. Okay, we have 3 huge Sega fans here, Sam, Steve, and Tim. So we're gonna have to do something big as well for you guys. So what I do most of the weeks, I've been doing most of the weeks this season, is to have a challenge that's comprised of 10 questions, trivia questions, and musical questions as well, which are different challenges as well. So testing your knowledge about Sega and your knowledge about the music of Sega games.
Okay.
We are focusing a little bit on the classic side of things, so don't worry. It'll probably be what you guys are more familiar with as well. So I think you're good.
So what you're
But-
saying, David, is there's no
yeah.
excuses.
I wouldn't. I didn't want to say that, but yeah, sure, yeah, exactly. So let's start, guys. So we have 10 questions, right? You can get up to 20 points. No one's done it, but maybe this is the first time. Who knows? The number of points depends on your choices as well, because when it comes to trivia questions, you can choose between easy questions for 1 point or hard questions for 2 points. Okay, so depending on your choices along the way, you can get up to 20 points. But let's just aim for 10, as I always do with every guest.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah. I think we
Let's
should
go.
work as a team on this to show you that between us we have the skills required to put a magazine together.
It will also mask my incompetence nicely.
That's
so I
also
agree
what
with
that's
this.
also what I was thinking. Yeah.
It'll also give you less excuses to fail.
Yes.
I hope you realize that. But okay.
Oh wait, no wait, not so sure about that one.
No turning back now.
Damn it.
Okay, so let's start with question number 1. Are you guys going with an easy or hard question?
Let's start on a hard. Let's see how this this is going to play out. Let's just get a hard one in there and see what happens.
So to speak.
Steady there, boy.
Hey, I didn't say. I'm just yeah. Okay.
Calm down there, action man.
No.
Oh God. Okay, so we're gonna go with this one, which I actually asked recently. Hopefully, you guys didn't hear this episode. In round 6 of the Japanese version of The Revenge of Shinobi, okay, a game that you actually featured in your first issue, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So it's The Revenge of Shinobi. In round
Yeah.
6, the Japanese version, so it's called the Super Shinobi over there. You
Yeah.
fight a boss called the Metamorpher, who takes on 2 forms, both resembling 2 very famous comic book heroes. Name one of them.
It was Simon who reviewed this, and he's not here.
Oh, that's good. For a horrifying moment, I thought it was me.
I
So
think
I could
I'm.
hazard a guess.
I
Round
think I'm.
6 of Revenge of Shinobi, a boss called the Metamorpher. Has
I think
2
I know-
forms.
Do you mind if I take this, guys? I had a guess.
Yeah.
I think I might know, but this is probably going to be horribly wrong, and everyone's going to be listening, screaming at me. I'm going to say Batman.
So one of the forms of the Metamorpher is Batman.
That's what I think. I think I'm wrong, just on the way you're saying that.
I'm just asking. I'm just confirming. That's
Steve?
that's your answer.
Steve?
Is it Spider-Man?
So now we
I
have
know what you're
Spider-Man.
I know you're thinking of something, and I'm racking my brains. I haven't played it, but I remember watching something on it. I don't know. I'll go with you though, Tim.
I know I trust you more.
No, I don't trust me more. You don't know me that well.
You're older than me.
I
Yeah,
You're
which
don't
means
older than
trust any of you.
Closer to senility, so it's not.
The annoying thing is I think I know this. I've known this because this is one of those things where Sega got caught out a lot for weird things like this, where you'd have like licensed characters, or in Streets of Rage 2, where the background is very clearly ripped off from Alien, and they just kind of got away with it. Let's go with Spider-Man. Final answer.
I was going to ask final answer. Okay.
Sorry.
So we're going to lock in Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Friendly Neighborhood.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
In Revenge of Shinobi. In a ninja game. Right? That's what
Yeah.
you're going with.
This is going to sound so daft if we're wrong, Tim.
Yeah.
We're going to sound like we're absolutely off of our heads.
Okay, so we're going to lock it in. It's locked in. No turning back now. I'm going to tell you what the other form is, what one of them is, and it's Batman. So Tim would have been right.
Oh, Tim,
Right,
you should have trusted me.
See, I knew it. I just sort of had that feeling, but let's see. It could be Spider-Man for the other one.
It's Batman and Spider-Man. Well
Yes!
done.
From the jaws of defeat.
Yes, 2 points. Good job.
Yeah. We should get 4 points because I got the other one.
Yeah, I think we should just win the whole quiz now.
Exactly.
It's not going to get any better than
this. Good job. What a great start. 2 points. That's awesome. Okay. So it's time for our music side of things. So question number 2 is I'm going to play a quick clip, short clip of a Sega song.
Yeah.
So you can get 2 points again. 1 point for the game, 1 point for either the name of the song or where it plays in the game, like level 1 or something like that. Something that shows me that you really know where this piece of music plays.
Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
No, you're not. Let's play clip number 1. Let's see if you know this.
It's got to be Mystic Cave from Sonic 2, isn't it?
It is Mystic Cave, yeah. But because this quiz has given me such anxiety, every bit of logic and reason has gone out of my mind. It's Mystic Cave from Sonic 2.
Is it Mystic?
It's definitely Mystic.
Aquatic Ruin. Aquatic Ruin, is it? Sorry.
No,
it's Mystic Cave, isn't it?
You both said that really quickly.
It's Mystic Cave.
You know something that I find funny. I usually have to do what you guys are doing to each other. So usually someone says an answer, and then I make them doubt themselves. You guys are doing it for me. So I'm just enjoying myself here with like a bag of popcorn.
The thing is that bit of exclusive content for you here in the middle of the quiz round is our latest issue comes with a cover CD. Nobody knows that, but on that cover CD. The Mystic Cave Zone music is there, and I've listened to that cover CD about 1,000 times in the last week. And the Mystic Cave Zone doesn't start like that; it starts but this part of the music could be later on in the stage when it started to settle down a little bit, and that's why I'm. And now you've put Aquatic Ruin in my head, Steve.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Mystic Cave because this. It is, because basically at this part of the music, just to show you how much I know Sonic 2, I hope I do, because if this is wrong, it's going to make me sound like a real idiot, is basically where you get to the part where you can either jump up on the vines or you can go down, and you've got those rotating wooden boxes. It's normally around that point that the music sort of settles down, so I think it is Mystic Cave.
100% agree.
Okay, Sam?
Yeah, I said before we went on air that I would defer to you guys, and I'm happy to continue with my strategy.
Okay, yeah, Mystic Cave Zone, please. Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Okay, so let me just check something with you. So we need game and song, title, or level. So game, Sonic 2.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
No doubts about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Song title. You say Mystic Cave.
The Mystic Cave Zone,
so you're playing Sonic 2 with either Sonic and Tails, or just Tails, and you get to Mystic Cave, and this is the song that plays in the main game.
Oh, no.
I'm just asking a question.
Is it the multiplayer music? because
Oh,
the music on the multiplayer it's the multiplayer one. Unless David is deliberately sowing doubts, I think this is the Mystic Cave Zone multiplayer 2-player music.
Here's a hint for the rest of the quiz. I am always deliberately sowing doubt. Always.
I don't know, Tim. You tied me up in knots as well now.
I don't know. As the objective third member of the team here, I think the fact that both of you said the same thing, like within 5 seconds of each other, after hearing the thing, I think
But
we should stick with the original.
I think it's multiplayer. I'm also aware that this podcast episode is going to be the longest ever. It's, I don't know about you, Steve. I'm tempted to go multiplayer.
I don't know. I'll defer to your leadership, Tim.
No, let's
right on the fence.
let's do what Sam said. We'll stay with the original. It's Mystic Cave.
No.
Yeah, Mystic. We'll put this on Sam. Mystic
So
Cave
technically,
Zone.
it's Sam's fault.
My efforts to remain blameless have backfired.
Mystic Cave Zone. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Final answer.
So, main game, Mystic Cave Zone, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That's it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, the game is indeed Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So 1 point for that. Good job. The track is from Mystic Cave Zone, but it's the 2-player version. It's the 2-player version. So Tim, you were humming along to the track, the tune of Mystic Cave 1-player.
Yeah.
So when you started, that's the first. That's the 1-player, the main game version of the song. So I wasn't actually trying to screw you up. I was actually trying to help when I asked
that's fine.
question.
I deserve to. I deserve to jump on a question mark box and get a Robotnik symbol after that.
Okay, but 1 point. Not bad. So 3 points so far. Let's keep going with question number 3. Again, easy or hard?
What do you think, guys?
I think we should stick with hard. I think we're doing
Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing too badly, are we?
There you
let's
go.
go hard. Let's go
That's
hard.
it. Okay. So we're gonna stick to topics that we've discussed throughout the show. What is the name? And this is very specific. What is the name of the Japanese composer born in 1967? This is important. In Japan, who worked on games like The Revenge of Shinobi, Shenmue, and the 8-bit versions of Sonic the Hedgehog, among many others, obviously.
Is
Yes.
it the guy who does Streets of Rage as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Because I've got all 3 Streets of Rage soundtracks on vinyl, and I'm thinking if it's the same guy, I'm now trying to go to my mind palace and picture it.
If it's the same guy, it's Yuzo Koshiro or something like that. He's the Streets of Rage guy. I don't know if that's the same guy who did Shinobi. I think it is. He did. I have no idea. I don't think to do with Shenmue. You said Shinobi, Shenmue, and the 8-bit Sonic the Hedgehogs. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm almost certain that the guy who did Shinobi also did the Streets of Rage soundtrack, and that's Yuzo Koshiro.
Yeah. The only thing that's throwing me is that Sonic 1 for the Master System was outsourced to Ancient, wasn't it? And they were such a small 2-person team. Would they have got him involved? Although I guess Sega would be like, here, you can have a composer for the weekend. Knock yourself out. I think you might be right.
Yeah, I think
I keep thinking. We're gonna have to go with you, Steve. I'm drawing a blank on that one.
I mean, what's throwing me a little bit is Shenmue. I had no idea if he had anything to do with Shenmue or not.
No.
But I'm so certain that Yuzo Koshiro did Shinobi that I'm willing to kind of put the house on it.
Yeah, let's go for that then.
Yep.
So your answer is
Yuzo Koshiro.
Final answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Something important that I think Tim said. The 8-bit Sonics were, or Sonic 1 at least, and 2 I think, were made by Ancient, right?
It was either Sonic 1 or Sonic 2. Ancient is one of them. Yeah.
So Ancient, what does it have to do with Yuzo Koshiro?
Oh, hang on.
Doesn't make
What?
much sense, does it? I'm
Didn't he-
just
didn't he-
throwing
didn't-
this out there. I'm not giving you any chance to take back that answer. The thing
Why-
is,
Why do I hang on? Why do I get the feeling that the composer was
Yes.
also the programmer of Sonic 1 8-bit, and his wife also helped him, and then he
Okay.
went on to do? I have a feeling there's something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking absolute nonsense. But
Okay,
let's
so
we'll stick with Steve's answer. Yeah.
yeah, so Yuzo Koshiro, so Ancient was the or it is the game company founded by Yuzo Koshiro's family.
Yeah.
Which means your answer is correct. Yes.
Ah,
Hooray!
So he
Nice one,
worked
Steve.
on the Shinobis, the Sonic 8-bits, made music for Shenmue. He made Streets of Rage, obviously, even some songs for Streets of Rage 4 as well, and many other games. Brilliant composer. So 2 points. That's amazing.
Yay!
We're
I
doing all
actually,
right.
Excellent.
Well
You're
I
doing
have some
okay.
of his music on my phone. I'm actually directing a play later on in the year called Roberto Zucco, and I'm planning on using a lot of his music for the soundtrack for the play.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
So that's
Yeah.
why it was in my head. So thank God for that.
If you want something a little bit more, not really the style of the 16-bit games that he worked on, Etrian Odyssey, those
Okay.
games, those Atlas games, he did them too, and the soundtracks are amazing as well.
Check
But
it out.
anyway, 5 points. Good job.
Awesome.
Very, very
Excellent.
good job. Doing great. It's time for another song. Okay,
Okay.
guys? Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
10-second long clip. Let's take a listen.
Oh, I know that one.
That's Streets of Rage, but I don't know which one.
Guessing it's going to be 3 then, because I don't recognise it that well.
No,
And 3 is the one
it's
I'm least familiar with.
unless it's not Streets of Rage. It's not Streets of Rage 3 because I know
Who
very.
said, I know that one?
It was me, and I was going to say Streets of Rage because I reviewed the Game Gear version for the magazine that's just come out, and that sounds like not just familiar in that I know it, but that I heard it recently.
So that must mean it's Streets of Rage 1.
Yes, I think it is.
It's definitely not Streets of Rage 3 because I hate that game. It's actually no. Let me take that back. It's a good game. It's just far too difficult for me.
Could it be one of the later levels? And it sounds very boss-like, doesn't it? It's not the actual boss music, but could it
No,
be the
No,
last
I actually
level?
think it's an
Correct.
early level because when I, to
it's
my
not.
shame,
I don't
sorry.
think it's the first level. It's the second level is the beach level, which is. Why is
No,
it?
that's the third, I think.
No, on the
third
Game
level.
Gear, it's you're on a bridge.
Just the bridge level.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But we
I'm pretty
can't.
sure it's that.
We can't guarantee that they didn't rearrange the track, the score, and the track and the level order for the. I've not played the 8-bit version for a long time. I think it's the second level.
Yeah, I think so too.
Which are you thinking the second level? Are we talking about the Game Gear version or the 60-bit?
This is 16-bit.
Yeah.
So the second level was the suburban streets, wasn't it? It
Yeah,
was like the outer city, wasn't it?
I think it's the second level because then the third level with the beach one's got a slightly more
Yeah, it's sort of
beach.
good jazzy, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got the vinyl downstairs. I keep saying that, like, look at me with my vinyl collection. I'm just a massive fan of the Streets of Rage music. That's all. But it's when you were put on the spot. I think it's I think it's either the second or the fourth level.
So let's take it by parts. So first of all, game. Which game is it?
Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage, for sure.
It's funny now because as I remember the other games I've played, I can just put that music to it and be like, was it Shinobi? Or, was it something else? But I think we should stick with Streets of Rage.
It's sort of, no, you're right, Sam. It sort of feels like it's something else. It's something
Yeah.
I've played very recently, like
Same.
really recently.
Yeah.
I don't want to put the cat amongst the pigeons, but I'm not confident as you guys are that it's Streets of Rage. I just think it would pop to me sooner if it was. That's why I'm
got
wondering
a
if it's
feeling.
Shinobi.
I got a feeling it might be Shinobi actually.
Shinobi, like boss music or something.
I've not played Shinobi for 20 years.
Which one, by the way?
honestly, it's not Shinobi. I've not played Shinobi. I really don't like the Shinobi series. A lot of your listeners are going to hate me. I've not played it.
Not the listeners, just me.
Just you. I'm not a fan of Shinobi. It's not Shinobi.
So, Streets of Rage then.
Okay.
Maybe
I was
not
so
Streets of Rage.
confident in the beginning.
If you could have played us to 10 seconds after, I reckon we'd all know it, because it was just getting into that bit where it sounded like it was going to be recognisable and it cut off, didn't it? So maybe it is Streets of Rage, and it's just not the intro I'm listening to. I'm going to go with the majority opinion.
Okay, so let's lock it in. Is it Streets of Rage, guys?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so since it's Streets of Rage, which level?
Right.
Gonna
You were
say
between
level
2 and
2?
4, weren't you?
I think it's 2 or 4. I'm tempted to say. I think it's 2.
I want to say 2 just because I actually never get that far in the games when I review them because I'm not as good as I remember. So, and I don't think I would have got to level 4, so I'm going to go with 2.
Yeah, Streets of
So,
Rage
go
level
on.
2.
Streets of
I'll
Rage
take this one. Yeah.
1, level 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you that this is a song and the soundtrack by Yuzo Koshiro.
Okay, it's a good start.
Yeah.
This is level 1 of that specific game, so no points there. But is it Streets of Rage level
No.
1? It is not. It's
Oh.
The Revenge of Shinobi.
Oh my god, I knew it.
I'm
And
really
this
sorry.
Go and stand
called-
outside for 5 minutes.
This song is called The Shinobi.
The
So,
question is. Oh, I know why I
It-
know that music.
why is it?
It's on our cover disc and it's a Shinobi track.
Okay.
You
Good
know, I
taste.
got stuck on the bus at the end of the level, and I must have heard it so often
I'm
because
really
the boss is a
sorry.
big samurai. No,
I'm-
it's my fault because I put Streets of Rage in everybody's head, and then I doubted it.
No, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
That's where I know it from.
But it's cool. It's cool.
It's quite comforting to know that I got my, it was my second choice.
But
Yeah.
you went with, your brain was in the right place because, you thought
Yeah.
Yuzo Koshiro. So, yeah, it was just not Streets of Rage, but
So
something.
we got the right composer, even though there's 0 points on offer for that.
Exactly. Just you get a little pat on the back just because of that. Very good. Okay, so 5 points so far. 6 questions to go. Let's go with number 5. Easy or hard?
I'm enjoying the more
keep it up.
difficult questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take it up a notch with something different. Okay. We're going to go a little bit later in the history of Sega with
Oh dear.
Sonic Adventure.
Ooh.
Okay. In Sonic Adventure, collecting rings as Sonic in Casinopolis and depositing them in the vault serves 2 purposes. Do you guys remember this?
I
Yep.
played
This
I
level?
played this
Yeah.
game, yeah.
Okay.
Crazy. Yeah.
So it serves 2 purposes when you deposit rings in the vault. One is to gain access to a platform and end the stage. That's the main goal. What's the other?
I don't remember.
As you deposit rings, something else happens that not many people are aware, perhaps.
It doesn't start the reels that kicks off the night's bonus game, does it?
I don't know. You tell me.
I was asking. Is Steve, Sam, you played Sonic Adventure?
That's not the one with the pets, is it? Where you get the little.
Yeah,
The Chow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
It annoys me that they're called Chows because it's KO, like Chaos Emerald, KO, and yet it changed to Chow. That's bothered me forever. Anyway,
It's not nothing to do with them, is it? Like I remember, I've got this memory of having you had a little garden of them, and the more you collected, they kind of hung out there. And
yeah.
sometimes I used to boot it up just to hang out in that garden with all my little KOs.
And your Action Man dolls.
Yeah.
I don't think it's KO related. I don't think they are Chow related. I don't think they would pin it all into one level like that. Maybe I'm wrong again.
You know what? I remember nothing about that game other than the Chows or the KOs.
So I'm fairly sure that the Knights pinball game is in that area because the whole casino pinball thing is kind of the same sort of theme.
It is, yes.
but I don't know whether or not you need to
I
deposit
thought
rings.
you could just use it. I thought there's 2 pinball machines in there that you could
Yeah,
just use it.
okay.
I remember this very well. It's 400 rings you have to put in there so you can climb out, isn't it?
Yeah, or does it just give you an emblem? Because I got all of the emblems in Sonic Adventure, which is disappointing because it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Or maybe it does, but nothing
In Sonic 2 it
spectacular.
does. It
Yeah, Sonic
unlocks
Adventure.
Green
Yeah,
Hill Zone.
Sonic Adventure 2 Green Hill Zone. That took me forever, and I was so proud when I finally did that. But the first one, um,
So, what does it do? Collecting all the rings or more rings, depositing them in the vault.
does it trigger a party or something? You get like fireworks, or
I
I
think
don't
we've got
know.
to go with something, haven't we? I don't
Yeah.
think it's to do with the
Is it
KO.
Yes.
just silence on the line? So
Yeah.
remind us what you said the first thing that it does is. It does 2 things.
So it's just you gain access to a platform where
Yeah,
you
to jump
either
out.
collect the Chaos Emerald, or in later plays of that level you get a capsule, like the Egg capsule,
Okay.
to end the stage.
Well, the only suggestion we got so far is Tim's that it enables the Knights pinball machine, isn't it? Because other than that, I'm
We have
lost.
that
It's either
in
that
a
or an
party.
emblem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again,
Party.
I don't think they would have. That was quite easy to find, and I don't think they would hide that behind getting every single ring.
I think we
Maybe
should go with pinball machine. It's
maybe
a
this is
very specific answer.
maybe this is something I never actually did unless it was required, and it probably wasn't.
Mhm.
I
So
don't know.
not this, not the fireworks. No.
I don't know where that's come from out of my mind. I feel like there's something that goes on, like a party, or the music changes, or the environment changes. I can't remember.
Okay, guys, I need an answer. I need an answer.
Somebody else
Pinball.
choose.
Do the
Pinball.
pinball.
I
Pinball.
think we're going to have to
Pinball.
go with that.
Knight's pinball.
Nice
Nice
pinball. Yeah.
pinball.
Knight's pinball. So that is not the correct answer. I hate
Darn
to
it.
break it to you. You can actually, as I think Steve or Sam said, you can actually access the Knight's pinball table from the start at
Okay.
any point. The correct answer is, when you collect more rings, it helps build a golden Sonic statue in the center
Oh,
of the
of course
lobby.
it does. No,
Right?
I'm so
And
sorry. I knew
it's
that.
easy to miss that when playing as Sonic, but you actually see it when playing as Knuckles,
Oh,
because you can
that's
actually break the statue and everything
I
if
didn't
you
know that.
punch it in a specific place. But when you deposit a certain number of rings in the vault, you can build that golden Sonic statue right there in the center of the lobby of the stage. So no points, but this was a hard question. So
Yeah,
Sorry, should
I
have
it
didn't
got
know
makes
that,
that.
sense.
guys.
No
That's
points,
alright.
but some great memories.
Exactly. Okay, it's time for our third song. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's do it.
let's do it.
That's the Nights into Dreams overworld.
Yeah, I definitely Nice into Dreams. I think I can say which one it is. It's one
I
of the
think
first 2 levels, isn't it? It's either is it Claris's level or the other Elliot?
yeah, it's the overworld, isn't it? When you're not active as knights and you're walking around the terrain at the bottom, I think. Or is it the actual first level?
I think it's one of the first levels because it's I'm sure the music doesn't change when you go from being Elliot or Claris into Knights.
Yeah,
The
I think
music
you're right,
stays.
actually.
Yeah, it's one of the first levels. Either Spring, is it Spring Valley? Is one of them. I'm trying to think what it's Elliot or Claris's. I'm tempted to say Spring Valley.
I don't think, does it make a difference whether you choose Elliot or Claris when you start Knights? I think
Yes, you have 3 different levels. There's 6 levels in total, and 3 is Elliot's and 3 is Claris's.
I thought it's the first. I always thought the first level was the same, but I think I'm sorry. I'm making things difficult. You know this better than I do. Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that then.
There's Spring Valley and Splash Garden, I think, is Elliot's. I'm tempted to think it's Clarice's level, which is Spring Valley.
Okay, let's go. It sounds springful, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with that.
So, your answer is for game Nights into Dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for stage,
Spring Valley.
Spring Valley. Final answer.
In a way.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. It is Nights, so 1 point. Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
The song has a title, by the way, called Paternal Horn. Okay.
Okay.
Do you think this is a Spring Valley like title?
Or could it be a little Splash Garden-y?
It is Spring Valley. Very good.
Yay!
Yes.
Yes.
Good job.
See,
Well
that's
done.
what I did, staying loyal through the Saturn era.
Yeah.
Steve.
Blimmin' turncoats.
Yes, very good. It paid
This is
off.
great. Every
No
question
Crash
not answered by
Bandicoot
me.
questions here.
Every question not answered by me has been a roaring success.
7 points so far. We're almost there. You only
Okay.
need 3 more points. So,
Okay.
question 7. Easy or hard, guys?
Hard, please.
Stay
Hard, please.
Yeah, we'll stay hard.
Yeah,
Okay.
blue pill, please.
God. Okay. So, hard. Okay, we'll say hard. So, let's go with. I have a list, by the way. That's why I'm hesitating. I have a list of loads and loads of easy and hard questions. Okay, so let's go with this one. Let's go with the Dreamcast question. My favorite game of all time, Shenmue. Who's played Shenmue here?
Yeah, I have.
Absolutely one of my favourites too.
Okay. In the original Shenmue, how much money did Ine-san leave out for Ryo each day?
Is it
How
like
much
something like
money?
700 yen or something? That's
It is something yen, yes.
I'm just trying to think how many capsules I used to buy every day, trying to get Sonic the Fighter's characters from the little vending machine. And they were 100 yen each, I think, and I used to be able to buy more than one, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's, I don't know, I had sort of 700 in my head, but I think it was somewhere between 500 and, it's less than 1,000, I'm pretty sure, and I'd say at least 400, but where we plump in between.
I mean, you went for 700 quite quickly.
I did,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that was quite a visceral reaction. I don't know if...
I think lucky number 7. I think we've got to go with that.
Yeah.
Let's go with First Instinct.
Okay.
So final answer, 700 yen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tim was right. Each capsule,
100 yen each.
that's what you pay for the capsule toys.
Hang on, can we change your answer?
I don't know.
I just think 707 is quite a weird number, isn't it? Wouldn't it be like round, like 500 or 1,000? Does it seem like more?
So less chance to change.
700 is an odd number.
But then, does Japanese culture follow the same rules as we do in terms of what?
I think we might be putting a bit too much importance on what falls out of my head immediately. Going on past experiences, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is normally not to be trusted. I'm going to say 500 because it's more. 5 is a round, isn't it? It's not 1,000. I'm pretty sure it's not 1,000.
So last chance, final answer.
Yeah, okay, let's go 500.
500?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Sam, you in?
Yeah. No, I'm in. Let's
in for a penny, in for 500 yen. Go for it.
Yeah, about the same thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
500 yen. How do you feel if I told you that it was 700 yen?
I say you're lying.
Furious. I'd be incandescent with rage.
It's 500 yen,
Oh,
yes!
yeah,
Good job! Nice save!
Go on, Ryu.
From now on, Steve, I'm gonna ask you to do all of your articles twice.
Okay, so it's time for the last song.
Okay.
The last song, though, is reversed.
Hmm.
Okay,
Good heavens.
so it's a 10-second long clip.
So is my warped mind.
Okay, so maybe it's easier then.
Yeah.
Let's take a listen to the clip in reverse.
That is
Sonic Adventure first level.
Yeah, it is. What's the level called? It's the one with the whale.
Yeah. Oh God.
I've,
You don't need the name of the level if you just tell me
Oh,
which, if
Sonic Adventure level 1.
level 1. Okay, that's
Oh
enough.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
which character, by the way?
No, hold on.
First action stage.
Yeah, because you could argue that level 1 is your first, your fight with Chaos Zero.
Yeah.
So it is the first action stage
First
for Sonic
action
the
stage.
Hedgehog.
It's Sonic the Hedgehog. So it actually is always your first action stage because you need to start as Sonic. So yeah, it is the first one. Okay, so that's your answer.
Emerald Coast, isn't
That's it? Emerald Coast.
Emerald Coast.
Emerald
Yeah.
Coast.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're sure this is Sonic Adventure Emerald Coast?
Yeah.
Yes.
That doesn't sound very sure, but okay. Final answer,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shall we listen to the song not in reverse then to see if you're
Please.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a listen.
Oh. No,
And it
hold
is
on.
correct. It is.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
You couldn't change it anyway, but it
That's
is
fine.
correct.
Where were you hoping to go, Tim?
I just had all of a sudden had a feel that it might have been Windy Valley, but then Windy
it
Valley
wasn't.
actually uses music from Sonic 3D Blast, or Sonic 3D
Exactly.
Flicky's Island. So it's
Part
not
of
that.
it,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so good job. 2 points, and that means, guys, you got 11 points already. So you're in the clear.
Excellent.
And
Woo-hoo!
we have 2 questions left, so that means we could get like a record-breaking score here.
Oh.
Because I don't think anyone's gotten these many points so easily, I think.
Wow.
So let's see. Question 9 is the last one you can pick between an easy or a hard question. Because number 10 is always hard.
We might as well stay hard, boys.
Yeah. All in. Yep.
All in on the hard.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Okay, let's go with another topic here. Are you familiar with Wonder Boy?
No.
No. Okay.
Nope.
In that case, the question is, in stage 4 of Streets of Rage 2, the baseball stadium, which of the following options is a sentence that you can see in the background? Okay, so stage 4 of Streets of Rage 2. Is it option A, it's like Boo? Option B, Dodgers forever? Option C, play ball?
Well, it might be play ball. What was the first option?
Yeah.
It's like Boo. It's like Boo.
Boo. That rings a strange bell
With
as well.
with an exclamation mark.
Yeah, I don't know. Play ball is just like the kind of generic thing you'd expect to see in the background of a game, isn't it?
Play ball
But-
also has an exclamation point at the end.
I kind of feel like it's the first one because Sega did a lot of weird stuff like that, like Sonic 1 prototype before it was released. Spring Yard Zone had things like cope written in the background, like really odd words and spelling mistakes, and it's like Boo, like you said, Steve, rings a bell for some reason.
Yeah,
it rings a boo for some reason.
I'm tempted to say that as well because, as you say, that if it stands out, I'm only really wondering if maybe it stands out for a completely different reason. Has he thrown it in there because it's in another?
Yeah, this David chap's a tricky fella.
He is a slippery one, isn't he?
Yeah,
but
I try.
Yeah, then again, I don't know.
I've played Streets of Rage 2 an awful lot. I feel like I would have noticed that.
Do you remember this stage?
When you say baseball stadium, that's not ringing any bells for some reason.
There's a baseball stadium.
Yeah, it's the one that when you stand on the centre circle, whatever it's called, it sort of descends downwards, doesn't it? Down to the
Exactly.
wrestling.
There's like an elevator, like a
yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know. What do we reckon?
I'm gonna say it's like Boo.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same. Sam?
final
Yeah,
answer.
I'll go with you guys. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know. That was just a guess on my part. So yeah, I'm with you. Final
So
answer.
option
Yeah.
A, it's like Boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Another sentence in that particular level is do exclamation point baseball exclamation point, by the way. Okay.
Okay.
That's also there. And you say the other one is it's like Boo.
Yeah.
It is like Boo. Indeed.
Excellent.
Yes.
Wow.
2 points. Well done.
Oh,
Good
we are
job. I don't know what this means, but it's in there. Yes.
Yeah, they did lots of stuff like that. Weird translation errors. Yeah.
Okay, good job. Good job. Okay, so it's time for our final question. For you, you have the chance of getting 15 points. I don't think anyone's got 15 points ever.
But then again, I don't think anybody's come on this quiz and guessed every single answer and got really lucky.
Okay, so we're gonna go with a Sonic Mania question.
Yeah, I love that game.
Okay, so Sonic Mania for our final hard question. What is the name of the mysterious and powerful gemstone that appears in both Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces and can be used to distort time and space?
Dear.
There's a gem. If you remember the game,
Yeah, I didn't like the
Right.
way it tied into Forces at the end. That upset me greatly. What's it called? So, Time Stones is Sonic CD. The Chaos Emeralds and everything else, apart from the one with Blaze in it, where they're the Soul Stones, I think, or something to do with the sun. So what are they called? What is that particular? It's like the Time Stone or the Warp Stone.
I can't. I would have just gone with Chaos Emerald, but that's got to be wrong.
Assume it's not. The only other one I can think of is the Master Emerald, but that's not. That's
No.
3 and Knuckles, isn't it?
Yeah, they kept it back because it's
Adventure.
a unique plot point, like on its own. Yeah, Master Emerald. I think
so
I'm tempted to say like the Warp Stone because I think it's responsible for.
Isn't there like oh no. So I thought it had it.
So it can be used to distort time and space.
I think it's the warp. I think it's warp something. I really can't remember.
Wasn't there one that was a different thing though? Not an emerald, but like a different precious stone, like a ruby or.
Not that I can think of. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just can't think of. Yeah, it was Time Stones in Sonic CD. They weren't emeralds in that. I'm pretty sure it's the Soul Stones in Sonic Rush. I think it was where we had Blaze, the cat, when they started putting loads of ridiculous characters into the franchise and killing it dead completely. Sorry, just throwing out some shade there to make some of your fans aggravated.
I'm gonna need an answer, guys.
I'm gonna say the Warp Stone or the Warp Crystal. It's one of the two.
The Warp Stone or the Warp Crystal. So which
one? Guys, do you think it could be one of them?
I haven't got any opposing ideas, to be honest. So I'm gonna say Tim.
I'm gonna say the Warp Crystal.
The Warp Crystal. Final answer.
Yeah.
So it's not the Soul Stone or Soul Emeralds as they were in Sonic Rush.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Yeah.
It's not the Chaos Emeralds either. Even though you do find the Chaos Emeralds in the game.
You do.
It's the Phantom Ruby.
Was
Oh, I'm
Ruby.
so sorry, Steve.
Someone said
That's
something
what
about rubies. Okay.
I never would have got Phantom though. I just had a feeling it was a different gem. But
Okay.
yeah.
I'm so
Yes.
sorry, Steve. So sorry.
Well, I wouldn't have got Phantom anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
But well done. Great job. 13 points. I think it's a high score as well, either way. I think that the max number of points anyone's gotten is 12, I think. I could be wrong, but amazing. This was an amazing game. Good job, guys. You get the
Yes.
official Sega Lounge seal of approval. Well done.
Excellent.
That's all we
Thank you.
came here for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a real thing. I will send it to Tim after we're done here. So,
Awesome.
yes, it is a real seal of approval.
Awesome.
Okay. So, thank you very much for doing your best and being such good sports here on the Sega Lounge. So, before we go, let's just talk a little bit more about Sega Mania. So, we're into issue 3 now. It's
Yeah.
out there, right?
Yeah.
You just announced something, a little bit of exclusive news during the challenge, but would you like to tell us again, Tim, what's coming in issue 4?
Yeah. So the big thing about issue 4 is we're going to have a complete redesign, taking everything we've learned so far and cleaning everything up and taking some of the feedback on board. We're going to be increasing the number of pages. So it's going to go. We haven't finalized the page count yet, but it's going to be over 80 pages. So we're going to be going to a much larger magazine. And the most exciting thing, and this is the first that anybody has heard this, is that Duncan Gutteridge, who did the official box art for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 on the Mega Drive, and a few other franchises, has agreed to do our cover art for issue 4. So that's going
Excellent.
to be really exciting. So we're working with him, and it's going to be a really, really nice cover for that issue, plus the redesign, plus the increased page sizes. It's just going to be so much more from us and in such better quality. So we just can't wait to get that issue out. And we're looking probably around January, February for that hitting store shelves. Well, digital store shelves, but yeah,
Figuratively speaking.
yeah,
Yes. And doorsteps all around the
yeah,
world.
yes.
Yes. Okay. So how can people find Sega Mania magazine? How can people get it? How can people get their grubby hands on an issue or
Uh,
all
we
the issues of Sega Mania?
we sell them all through our website, which is www.sega-mania.com. And you can purchase issues really easily on there. We accept every payment method you can think of. We've got back issues on there, and we have subscriptions as well. So there's lots of different ways you can get a hold of it. And if you can't get a hold of it, say you live in a country that we haven't started shipping to yet, you can find our email address on the website, send us a message, and we'll fix that and sort that out for you.
Hmm. Excellent. So, something that may interest many of our listeners is you do ship to other countries, so to
Yes,
outside the UK. I'm going to say I'm in the EU, so I've gotten no issues with receiving my issues of Sega Mania.
cool.
No, like, customs taxes or any kind of problem at all, and they actually arrive pretty quickly here. So
Yeah,
I'm assuming everyone's got that same
yeah.
experience as well.
We are registered for VAT in the EU. So if you live in the European Union, you pay a small VAT charge on checkout on our website. It's like something like 90 cents on top of the price of the magazine. It's just a shame that we have to charge that, but
Hmm.
this country made a stupid decision. Um, uh, and yeah, because we do that and we're registered, we put a proper customs form on there, and it will go straight through. You won't be charged any customs charges at all.
Excellent. So yeah, I didn't know that when I ordered my first number of Sega Mania, and it was a pleasant surprise. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I was listening
excellent.
to an earlier episode of the Sega Lounge where Dean from Sega Powered came on, and he was talking about his experience with the EU, and it's not fun what we have to do, but we put a lot of time and research and money into it to make sure that everyone in Europe can still get a hold of the magazine without any problems. It should just go straight to your door.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's much appreciated. So obviously, issue 4 will be 1993, so we'll get that. And you already told us that you usually don't say what's inside, but it's think about games from 1993 and you get a picture, a good picture of what's coming. But issue 3 is now out, so people listening to this episode can now get issue number 3. Can you tell us a little bit, like a few hints of what they can expect from the current issue of Sega Mania?
Obviously, we've got the cover CD, and we have our regular features, such as Simon takes you on a journey of what was happening in 1992. We've got some stuff about a Sega Saturn translation of a game called Bulk Smash, which is quite exciting. The reviews, we've got a big Sonic the Hedgehog 2 piece in there. Things like Tasmania's covered. What else is in there, guys? Come on, help me out. My mind's gone blank.
I just think we've got a couple of new writers,
Yeah, of course,
loads more of the content. I think, as we've sort of alluded to over the course of the entire podcast, it gets more refined and a little bit better every time that we do it. So I think the general quality is improving as well. So people have got that to look forward to. A bit of we've got the Christmas features, haven't we? A bit of a look at Christmas gaming around Christmas time. What came out? So there's a bit of a festive element to the magazine. Right, just in time as the buzz for Christmas starts.
And Steve's done a fantastic piece on Echo the Dolphin. You might learn a few things about that I certainly never knew before. Quite a creepy piece. It's a big issue for reviews. There is, I think, something like 35 game reviews in that issue.
One or two guest columns as well.
We've got
interviews.
A couple of guest columns, few interviews. So yeah, every issue is getting more, as Sam said, more and more refined. But there's so much more that we want to do, and that's why we're going to be increasing the page count, and we're not going to fill it with adverts or empty white space. We're going to just give people more and more of what they love.
It's it's a good, like, when we read through it, like, obviously the last thing we do is read the whole thing in a PDF to get those last minute typos and all that kind of thing. And of course we think all the magazines are pretty good, but reading this one, it's like, God, we've really done a good job of this one. It's absolutely packed with stuff, so we really hope that the people who buy it, and we really appreciate all of them, they're certainly getting a lot of bang for their buck, and we just really hope that everybody enjoys it, because it's, like Tim says, absolutely packed, this issue, and we're all really proud of it. So
excellent,
And I have to say, the cover CD is worth the price of the mag alone. It's absolutely brilliant, isn't it, Tim? It's been in my car since it arrived on my doorstep, and myself and my daughter have been bopping along to it every day for a week.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. I mean, I'm still listening to it daily at the moment. It's fantastic.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely worth checking out. So people can get it by going to the website, right?
Yeah.
It's I don't know. This is something I probably need to edit out, but there's a sale going on right now. Is it just like a Black Friday sale for issue 2?
No. Issue 2 is we actually ordered way too many copies, and so we've got not a surplus. They still sell all the time, but we got quite a lot of them. And I just thought, now that issue 3's come out, there's some people who are only just joining us now, and we thought, well, by making issue 2 a little cheaper, it gives them an easier way to sort of get some of our earlier work. Issue 1, unfortunately, is sold out at the moment, but you can register your interest on the website, and as soon as we get a certain amount of people registering their interest, we will print some more of them, and they'll be available for sale.
Mm-hmm. Great, that's great. So Sega-mania.com, check it out, people. Everything about the magazine is there. There's a blog as well, by the way, as well. There's Discord, right, guys? That people can join. So all the links will be in the show notes as well. Before we wrap up, I have a final question, but do you guys want to say anything else about Sega Mania? Anything to people listening in who are, just learning about the magazine, considering, should I just buy this or not?
First off, I would just like to say to everyone, to everyone who has bought already, just thank you so much for putting your faith in us. It's massively, it's just amazing to have the support that we've got. We get lots of emails and messages full of kind words, and it's really appreciated. And to anyone who is joining us for the first time, we really hope you enjoy it. And we welcome any feedback that you have. We're not some big corporate company. We're just a bunch of guys doing our best, and we're always open to chat to people and have conversations about what we can change or new features or what we can do better. So please jump on board and get involved.
Absolutely. And yeah, just to sort of, just a message to anybody who's already picked it up and anybody who might be thinking about picking it up. An awful lot of hard work goes into it. So we really hope that shines through. As Tim says, it's we're a small operation really. It's just a handful of us trying to do it around kids and jobs and everything else. But we're all really dedicated to it, and we just really hope that all the effort that gets put into it, comes through for people, and that you continue to enjoy reading it, because like we say, we just had some amazing feedback, and we just really appreciate everybody that's come on board with us.
Excellent. Well done.
I was a fan of the magazine before I joined the writing staff, so I was already well into its advantages of having physical media, of reliving those days of being able to hold a Sega magazine in your hand and take something other than your phone to the toilet for a change. Give your eyes a break, people.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Print media is coming back in a big way.
Yes, it's time to bring back the magazine rack in the toilet.
Yeah. Also, I think the pages are probably thicker than 2-ply toilet paper, so
There we are.
if you want some luxury while you
it's the perfect magazine to defecate to.
Yes.
And with.
I think that should be your new slogan, your new tagline.
Yeah.
Absolutely, give away some toilet roll on the next cover issue.
Actually, the way the world is right now, that probably would be more appreciated than a cup
Yeah,
of tea.
probably
that's
would,
a
yes.
luxury item right now. Yeah. Perfect. So my final question is always the same. It's, are you familiar with blast processing?
Yep, it's totally
Yeah.
fictional, but I love it.
Doesn't matter. Let's say it's real for a
Okay.
moment.
Okay.
And if you could add blast processing to anything in the world, what would it be and why?
So the trouble I have is actually I want to slow things down in my life. I don't want to speed anything up. The world is going by far too quickly, and I'm getting older by the minute, downhill with the wind behind me. So I actually would like to take blast processing out of everything apart from my wonderful Mega Drive.
So maybe you could blast process yourself.
We'll just get older faster.
Reverse blast process.
Reverse blast process.
Or if you were moving faster, Steve, everything would seem slower.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I suppose relativity and all comes into it. Okay. All right. So myself then is my answer. I would blast processing to myself.
My answer is going to be something really lame, and I would just like to put blast processing into the Sega Mania shipping process so we could get them out to people faster.
What a great answer. I was going to say self-service checkouts at the supermarket. I hope that's an acceptable.
I think the people who
I
voiced
agree.
those were thrown off of children's programs. They're always so patronising, aren't they?
Yeah.
I get an inferiority complex every time I have to deal with one of them.
It is
what I'm going with.
frustrating. It is frustrating. I'll give you that. That's it. Yeah, good answers. Good answer, guys. So thank you very much for coming on the show. Thank you for enduring through that Sega Lounge challenge, that torture, and actually doing so well. And all the best for Sega Mania and all future issues. I can't wait to read them all.
Thank you so much. It's I'm sure I speak for all of us when I say it's been an absolute pleasure and a lot of fun.
And
has
pain.
Yeah, in equal measure.
Equal measure. Just a little bit more of pain, I think. But
Well,
yeah.
that's how we like it.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was great fun. I do hope you guys enjoyed that. And let's all take a moment to appreciate how Tim, Sam, and Steve did on the Sega Lounge challenge. That was honestly quite impressive. Big thanks to the guys for joining me this week. And remember, you can go to sega-mania.com right now and order all past issues of the magazine and even pre-order the great-looking issue 4 with cover art by Duncan Guttridge. And it's about time we wrap up things for the week. Next week, we'll be celebrating the 30th anniversary of Toe Jam and Earl with contributions from some of our community homies. And for our final episode, we'll be celebrating another big 3-0 anniversary. That's right, we're closing off the season with a tribute to Sonic the Hedgehog. I hope you join us for both of those episodes. Thank you so much for listening, have a great week, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye! The Sega Lounge, hosted by me, KC, and part of Radio Sega's network of live shows and podcasts. Theme song and incidental music by OSC. Find them at opussciencecollective.bandcamp.com. Got any suggestions? Drop me an email to podcast@thesegalounge.com. Follow us on Twitter @thesegalounge and like us at facebook.com/thesegalounge. You can find previous episodes of the show by going to thesegalounge.com and wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. A Mixed On Productions podcast.